today. Now, before we get into it, I just want to reiterate what everybody already knows. One of the biggest compliments of our company from biggest income earners I've come across out there joining us with past experience is the fact that Neumi has one system that every single member across the globe uses in every single language. And the first thing that everybody always does is they go to the Fast Start Guide, which is in the back office. When you go to Tools, Documents and Media, and then you go to Fast Start Guide. It's in every language. Now, if your upline hasn't given you that, go get it yourself and start the proper duplication from you down and make sure that everybody has access to this Fast Start Guide. It covers off the Neumi 1, 2, 3 process that we're all using, which is 1, connect to tools, 2, connect to leaders, 3, connect to product, and the ABC, which is direct to the app, direct to the bonus, which I'm going to cover off how to achieve that today in Power of 3, and connect direct to the community. So this form is your Bible with Neumi for every single member to start with. If they go past there and start, they've missed, you know, what is it? Don't collect $200 if you play Monopoly. They need to start at this basic baby step. I'm going to share with you some interesting statistics. Okay, so statistic number 1, the average person in network marketing only ever introduces 2.8 people. Wow. Don't let that scare you, because I'm going to unravel what that actually means. This is why we created the Power of 3. Why? Because if someone doesn't have a lot of confidence or experience and they start building their business, they can see so believable that right in front of my face, all I've got to do is get 3 people. And based on statistics, it's right in line with that. And that's why we created the Power of 3. So it gives belief for the person without a lot of confidence, simplicity for everybody to follow, and it's easily duplicatable. Now, today on duplication, this is why we're going to cover off in more detail how the 130-10 fits in with it in little chunks. So a second industry statistic, 100 names on a warm list, not cold contacts, a warm list of contacts. On average, generally, most people will find about 30 people showing an interest. And then they'll potentially, maybe, pull out of that, maybe 20 customers, maybe 10 members. Now, this is a fact. You cannot get away from the fact. Now, if you're thinking, I didn't get those sorts of results, that's okay. At the very end, I'm going to cover off something called the belief bucket, which is probably why you haven't had such good statistics. What could be reasons for people having worse statistics? Well, firstly, let me say, if you are an experienced, confident, great people skills, trained up network marketer, you'll smash these figures. You'll get way beyond that. I know I get way beyond that. If you're maybe a medical professional who's promoting a nutrition product and everybody trusts you, you'll get way more results than that. You might get a higher customer ratio than members if you're not experienced in network marketing, but you'll still get better results than what I'm showing you. And I say this with total love and respect for maybe a 18-year-old university student who's never had any success. They might get less results than I'm showing you. This is the average, okay? So knowing that that's the average, what does that mean? Well, I'm going to chunk it down now, which we've done with consultation with the field, because some people get scared at the thought of 100 names. If you've ever experienced anyone getting petrified at the thought of 100 names, type in yes in the chat right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down with some baby steps so that everyone can see it's easy, it's achievable, and it's being easy to be able to do, right? So I'm just looking for the yeses. Yep, got a few people typing yes. All right, so here's some important industry facts. Did you know the first 90 days in business is probably the most critical time of your career for anybody? Why is that? Well, a 90-day game plan enables you to take meaningful, comprehensive action, consolidate it into a 90-day period to launch your business smoothly and boost your earnings. And success loves speed, right? This is easy when done fast. It is hard when done slow, right? Why do I say that? Well, it's just a fact, because if you create your own story, wow, I hit this rank by this time, it creates a vacuum behind you, a bit like riding a bike behind a really big truck. It's like, I've seen it before. In fact, out here on the water in front of us the other day, I saw this boat going along and I saw these paddle people and I'm like, yeah, smart. because they're getting caught in the drift of the water and they don't have to paddle as hard, right? So you will create that if you go, my first 90 days in business is critical, I've got to go for it, and then I can create a vacuum behind me that will accelerate the growth. Now, not everybody has the confidence to do that, but that's the goal. That's what I'm just saying. So these are the facts. So remember, the average person only ever introduced 2.8 people, but if 100 names on a warm list results in 30 people showing an interest, maybe 20 customers, maybe 10 members, what's the difference for those? Right? Well, the difference is the person who introduced 2.8 people on average did not ring 100 people. Fact of life, they contacted their first 15 best friends, then it got hard and they did no more because they didn't want to get out of their comfort zone. So they're why the facts are like they are. But we're going to build this around those facts right now, and we want you to focus on the first 90 days in business being so important. So let's talk about cycles and duplication. Cycles and duplication versus sales and plateaus. What do I mean? Well, and I say this with total appreciation, love, excitement. In my team, I've got some people who have so much influence online that they could hold up a Coca-Cola can and someone would buy it, right? So they're influencers. They've got a lot of influence online. They might get on there. I've had another guy in the business who went 3-star after doing one YouTube influencer channel, for example. Fantastic. That's awesome. But that's sales, which can plateau. That's not duplication, okay? So love those things, those big blips on the radar. When you're brand new, if you hear of someone who just rank advanced to diamond in like a month or two, don't judge yourself by looking at them, because chances are they're in that category where they've gone kaboom, sponsored hundreds of people, which is not duplicatable, but it's great to have it in the business. So we're not kicking it to the curb again. It's fantastic, but it's not duplicatable. We're going to focus today on what the duplicatable baby steps are. And the analogy I would give you, it's really easy to understand this anecdotal story. We all grew up knowing the tortoise and the hare. Phoebe Wallace, you'll be smiling at that, right? So sometimes, and I've worked with Phoebe for years, you've gone, we see these hares go, and then some of them disintegrate and disappear. And there's Phoebe's gone along as the tortoise, and she's always got to diamond and beyond, right? So that's because she duplicates the basic steps we're about to actually show you now. So if you want a business that is solid, that's going to stand the test of time, and you want to get paid reliably, type in yes, okay? So we said 100 names on a piece of paper. Let's just cut it down. Let's say, what about if you only rang 30 people? Yeah. Anyone can believe that. What if we said, let's chunk it right down and said, you're only going to ring 10 people per day for the first 3 days? Let me ask you a question. Who thinks that is realistic, right? Put a number 1 in the chat if you think that is realistic. Just ringing 10 people and then doing it tomorrow, 10 people the day after, 3 days in a row. That's all. A really chunked down, super duper baby step. A lot of ones getting typed in the comments. Isn't it funny? If I ask you to type a word, we get less. When I say just hit the 1 button, it's pretty simple. All right. So that's the baby step I'm talking about. All right. So let's use that for the first half of a cycle. What's a cycle? Well, a cycle is you going out there and approaching people, inviting people, getting them followed up by an upline in the Neumi 1, 2, 3, and then duplicating the second half of that by teaching what you've just learned. So for the first half of a cycle, let's invite, say, 10 people per day for the first 3 days, leaving in that week the next 4 days for follow-up and helping people get started. I'm also going to base this projection just on $100 as in 2 products as a purchase. Now, we all know people purchase a lot more than that, but we're going to base it on the basic baby steps. So here's you. What could you expect out of that? Well, based on the statistics of the 130-10, you could expect that you're probably going to have at least 3 members, and that's going to give you $25 times 3. You could do that in the first week, as we've shown. You could take as long as you like, but it can be done in that time frame and has been done many times. But you've probably picked up a few customers as well, and you're going to get paid for them. So here you can show in the first half of a simple, basic baby step cycle, you could be earning $150 in weekly commissions, which means you're able to fund next month's purchase. Okay, if you're in a financial stressed position, you can use this to dig out of a hole. Okay, so that's the first half of a cycle. 3 days, 10 people a day, phone calls, SMSs, messages, whatever, from a warm list. Get them to follow through. Some watch the videos from the app, some follow up with your upline, and some join. 3 customers, 3 members, pretty basic steps. Now, this is perfect duplication I'm going to talk about. Does perfect duplication happen? No. But I'm going to show you how we've understated a stack of things in a minute. So just bear with me on this, okay? So that's the first half of the cycle. Now let's complete the cycle, okay? In the next week, week 2, simply help your 3 people to do the same. So what are we going to do? They're going to do the first 3 days. They're just going to go, could you ring 10 people today? Yeah. Could you ring it tomorrow? Yeah. Could you ring the day after? Yeah. Easy. And then we follow up. So with the help of your upline on their follow-up calls, Q&As, whatever you want to call them, the second step in the process we all use, which is connect to leaders, you're going to follow through that. And the aim is to have this duplication shown on the screen. And in doing that, remember, if you had done that, you would be a senior member already. This is week 2 with this structure. And you're also on track to qualify for level 2, the $250 of the power of 3 on top of all the other bonuses in your second month of business, because as we know, the power of 3 gets paid in the second month. But you've put together the structure really quickly. Now, I'll reiterate what I said again. Does perfect duplication happen? No. If one leg runs away faster than the others, which is normal, pat yourself on the back, you're in the right position. That's what does happen. My first leg ran away with crowns, and now the second leg's doing exactly the same thing, and then the third. So it takes time to level it up, but we're just showing you a basic baby step, all right? So this is just the second half of a cycle. So type in cycle if you understand what this cycle is, okay? Now, in terms of cycles and duplication, let's recognize this. Some people will be doing Neumi full-time. Some people will be doing Neumi part-time at first, or maybe forever. Who knows? It's really up to their decision. So within the first 90 days, a full-time effort could complete 6 cycles easily. What we've just seen is a cycle, okay? A full-time effort could complete 6 cycles. A part-time effort could complete 3 cycles in the first 90 days. If you just did the first cycle I showed, call 10 people 3 days in a row, follow up, sponsor some people, teach that, that's a cycle. Even if you took a whole month, not 2 weeks to do that, part-time, without much input of your effort, really, compared to a full-time job, you could have duplicated that 3 more times in 3 months. So let's go back to this. Let's look at cycle number 2. Start the cycle again. You want to be a leader. A leader doesn't say, do what I did. It's like, look, I'm still doing it, right? Do what I do, right? So start the cycle again. Invite 10 more people a day for the first 3 days of this cycle, leaving 4 days for follow-up yet again, right? So what would that look like? Well, let's just pull it to the side. That's the existing structure you'd already built. Now, you would end up with the same, wouldn't you? 3 more people. There's $25 for each of those. We're still in this example. If they're doing it, full on, we're still in the first month, right? And then you've probably got some customers as well. So in doing that, this structure, just remember this, and this is the critical part of Power of 3 to understand that I was taught from Alex from day 1. In this example, remember this: width equals profit and depth equals security. Now, there is no dynamic compression. There is dynamic compression in the uni level, but there's no dynamic compression in the Power of 3. This is why, if you want to continue to qualify for the Power of 3 ongoing, rather than plugging up people's orders that they don't want to place in a structure of 3x3, which is called stacking, which is not A, a good practice and doesn't stand the test of time. It's a house of cards. And B, if you read the latest compensation plan on the last page, it says stacking can get you terminated. So be very careful how you go about it. So, but if you're placing people, right, front line and going 6 wide, and then you've got more people to place into the team, absolutely do that. That's what the what's it called? The placement suite is all about, right? And I continue to this day to introduce people, not as much as I did at the start, but I will take them and put them way, 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 way down the bottom of a leg to try and keep things moving. Now, how many tires does a car have? Alex says this, I love it because it makes points. Phoebe's got a hand up, 5. Yeah, it doesn't have 4. It has 5 because you need a spare tire, because if something goes wrong with one of the other tires, you have a backup. That is important when you are structuring up for profit with the Power of 3. You don't build 3, you build 4, 5, and 6 so that you've got the 4th leg or the 5th leg or the 6th leg to take over from that, right? Remember too that the Power of 3 is just the first rung on the ladder. and a duplication for the second rung of the ladder of how to do what you just did, and then a third. After that, when you get to diamond and above, if your focus is plugging up the first 3 levels of 3 teams, you've got your eye off the ball. Your biggest commissions will come from helping all of your people in the downline and getting paid the uni level bonus, and more importantly, the infinity bonus. And that's why you'll be working way beyond level 7, right? So it's just a bonus designed to fast track your takeoff, the runway, and get you very profitable very fast. Now, we know that we've lowered them now, and the first $50, you don't have to have any level at all. The second, the $250, you only have to be a senior member. And as I showed you, be way beyond that. And then the third level is a 2-star, which used to be a 3-star. So we've made it even easier to project on that one as well. So let's complete the second part of this cycle. What does that mean? Now help those people to do the same. Again, is this perfect duplication? Yes. Does that happen? No. But now let me reiterate what it means here. So even without including level 3, you're already a 1-star. Okay. Without including level 3, this structure on the screen is a very profitable 1-star. Now, this is not an income claim, but way back in our first year of business, the average 1-star was earning $1,800 US. That is not an income claim. It was just an observation of the first year. And was that someone with 3 legs earning $1,800? No, it was someone with a good structure of up to 6 legs. And they were earning about $1,800, which is awesome. What a great first major leadership level to focus on. So let's revisit a few things. Okay, we have not rung 100 names, have we? Nope. We've contacted 60 in 2 cycles only, and maybe 12 people have shown an interest, and maybe 6 became customers, maybe 6 became members. We have severely understated the statistics that normally work on purpose to make it believable. And at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the projection was used only using $100 US for a purchase. Now, no one builds just $100 US on every single purchase. Let me point it out. We've pointed it out on this starting pack. Some parts of the world, $1,000 packs are flying out the door because they want to get more product to get out into people's hands. $500 packs are quite common. The $300 pack is probably the most common pack out there, whether it's a quarterly auto ship or whether it's a $300 pack to start. And even our countries that can only ship small packs are still doing $300 and $100 packs, not just $100 packs. So we've severely understated the pack purchases in these projections. We did do perfect duplication, which doesn't happen, but we did not include level 3 and beyond. So either way you look at it, these statistics, if you work the cycles, are quite realistic. So if we look at what I'm talking about, one thing I want to point out, when you look at the compensation plan, 1-star is 5,000 PV. We showed you an example of, $100 packs only, and how to duplicate that with cycles. Did you know that every single rank is just duplicating that? So a 2-star is really a big 1-star, double the size. But in reality, when we get to 3-star, you need 2 1-star legs. If you have 3 1-star legs, you can be a diamond when you've got the right volume. When you get 4, you can be a double diamond, 5, triple diamond, and then a crown is just 6 1-star legs. So it makes sense if you go right back, the power of 3 and the 130-10 philosophy chunk down in these cycles gets the engine moving, but your ultimate goal isn't power of 3. Power of 3 is driving you to do what? To achieve 1-star. Once you've done 1-star, what are you going to do? You're going to teach people how to do 1-star by doing what? Following the power of 3, 130-10 philosophy. We started this business with way back July 2021 and haven't changed ever since. We've just broken down the simplicity of it for you in this training. Now, if you continue to complete these duplication cycles, which was what? Call 10 people a day for 3 days, then follow up for the rest of the week and see who you sponsor. If you taught that and duplicated that, keep on introducing people. Why is that? I can say to you that everything I say hits the mark because I'm not theorizing it as a leader. A leader is still doing what they're telling you to do, not talking about when I did it 20 years ago or even 2 years ago, right? So you want to be a leader, you want to inspire your group. The speed of the leader determines the speed of the group. Stay ahead, keep introducing people yourself. Duplicate the baby steps. One more cycle could look like this. What do I mean? Well, you could have duplicated a 1-star across 3 legs. Again, perfect duplication, I get that. But, this is cycle number 3. And then if you had volume because you were doing it smart and right with balancing your business into other legs, if you had another 5,000 out of that, guess what? You're already a 3-star. Now, there has been 3 stars pop out in the second month a lot in my journey in Neumi. Now, they're not people who are brand new generally, so don't judge yourself by someone else's speed, but they are people who've just gone for it, and they haven't gone for $100 packs. They might have had $500 or $1,000 packs, and they haven't just rung 30 people 10 a day for 3 days. They've rung 100 names on the list. But what we aim to do today is break it right down to the basic baby steps to say, do you believe that anyone could ring 10 people per day for 3 days and approach them? Now, if you don't, having covered off what the 130-10 and the cycles and duplication is all about, I'm now going to briefly finish off with the belief bucket. And I want to say thank you to Phoebe Wallace, who brought this up the other day, because she was chatting. We taught this for a long time. Phoebe and I have known each other for 25 years. And the belief bucket punched me in the face one day because it was so real and raw, but it really pointed out where someone needs help. What do I mean? I wish I could show you this video. I just thought of it now. I saw it the other day. Online, there's this guy in the gym, and he's got these massive biceps and upper body, and he's got these little tiny stick legs for legs. So what does it mean? He's out there building up his upper body. He's doing no leg work. He's not doing anything to round off the perspective. So sometimes we find people get into Neumi and they're studying glutathione until the cows come home, and then their results aren't so flash, and then they start saying this thing doesn't work. But what they haven't done, because they haven't done leg day, they haven't focused on their own internal skills, and they haven't focused on their knowledge of how to be a network marketer. So it's not that it doesn't work. It's just they're just focusing on glutathione, knowledge on glutathione, and that's not what builds a crown business. So I want you to go through a little test here individually. If you could draw on your piece of paper in front of you right now, if you could draw a little bucket, and I want you to picture that this bucket, I'm going to get a drill out, and I'm going to drill holes in the side of the bucket, which is full of water, according to your answers, okay? So answer number one, if you had to say, and by the way, on the side of the bucket, put a number 1 at the bottom right up to a number 10. So 10 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. Where would you rank your belief in, say, product? Where would it be? Would it be a 10, like the hypothetical example on the screen? Would it be a 1? Would it be a 2? Type in your thoughts in the chat. Where would your knowledge, or your belief on our Neumi products be out of 10? Type it in the chat. 10. 10, 10, 10. I knew I was going to see this. We have zero problems with our product, guys, do we? Because it does what it says it does. It is phenomenal. In fact, based on the new HERS feedback, I'd go as far as saying 11, right? Based on the results we're coming up with. So that's awesome. So what does that mean? If your belief in the products is so high, you just need some basic knowledge on what the products do. You do not need to be an expert in products. This is your biceps. That was easy, right? Now, what if I said we wanted to ask you where your belief was in, say, industry, the network marketing industry, 1 to 10. You know, does the network marketing industry work? I've seen a 5 in the chat. Just type in your thoughts. Where would you in another 5, some 10s? Okay, interesting. I'm watching somebody typing the answers in Neumi member group who typed 10 for one and 10 for the next. No coincidence, this person is ranking quite high, right? I've seen some 7s and 8s and so forth. Interesting. 38 million millionaires, according to Keith. Absolutely. Of course, it's high. So drill a hole in your bucket according to where that is. Let's say it was, I'm just going to do a hypothetical on the screen of a 7. Now, what about the leadership leading Neumi, be that your leadership and the corporate leadership of Neumi? Where would you rank that, 1 to 10? 10 is like, man, they've got it. And, 8 is, we've got some doubts. 7 is, a lot of doubts. And 6 is, what am I doing here? Right? What would your numbers be? Got some 10s, got some 9s, got some 10 pluses, 11s. Yep. Great. And if someone typed you don't have an upline, you should be. Every single person who is attached to Neumi is only temporarily attached to the company. That's called an orphan. We don't have any orphans. Everybody gets put under a mentor and a leader. So please, if you type that in, make sure you go tell customer service to allocate you someone. We don't have anyone attached to corporate except for Alex Monterosa, the master distributor, so to speak. So industry. What about the next one? Self-belief, right? Where would you rank your self-belief? Self-belief meaning, I got this, no matter what the topic is. Would you rank yourself a 10, a 9, an 8? Okay. Someone typed in a 1, right? It's fine. 7, be straight. I think, you know what? If I was to rank my personal belief, I would put it up there as a 9, but I'd always leave it as a 1 off the top because I can continue to work on myself. Okay? Continue, constant, never-ending improvement is the key. Now, I've seen a lot of figures answered there, right? So here is the point. If the lowest point on the screen is self-belief, let me ask a question. Is knowledge on our products the problem? What are your thoughts? Have you ever wondered why 2 people approach somebody, one gets everyone joining and one doesn't? Yeah, no, the answer is no. It's nothing to do with their products. It's to do with self-belief. So when I showed you the 130-10 philosophy and I talked about these statistics, when I said, let's break it down for the new person who probably doesn't have a lot of confidence and can't believe I could ring 100 people, we did that on purpose so you can see a baby step still builds empires. But what would I say? I would say if someone doesn't believe in the 130-10, it's a self-imposed limitation in their mindset and thinking. It's not a fact in the market. Right? It means what should they be doing? Should they be studying glutathione in our products? No, they should be reading books like What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, right? They should be connecting with a mentor and having them do a lot of the 3-way calls, because chances are if their belief is low and they're following up on their own, they're not going to convert many people. For those new people, did you know that even my own prospects, when I reach out and send a video, I book them into a follow-up and I introduce them to Alex Monterosa? I'm a Crown. I'm a founding advisory board member. Do I need that? No, I don't. I do it because I want to teach that process. If you don't do it yourself, you won't duplicate it. So it's really critical. Maybe your challenge is, maybe the lowest one was industry. Now, if your belief on the industry is low, and I'll ask you this question, is it based on a previous experience? Now, there are bad network marketing companies out there. There are shonky leaders in the network marketing industry as well. But there are, if I use the industry I've been in, there are bad mortgage broking companies. There are shonky mortgage broking company owners out there as well. This industry isn't unique. Does Neumi have the integrity you're after? Does Neumi have the skills, the knowledge, and the training you're after? So other companies and your belief in the industry should be based on this company and the vibe you feel with this company, nothing else. So personal development is a priority, as someone just typed in there. Absolutely, right? So I would encourage you after this, with all your brand new members, don't just teach them how to do the 130-10, maybe discuss their belief bucket. And if you find that the lowest point is self-belief, get them some books and point out to them that your results aren't going to be a reflection of the company, the products, the industry. They may be impacted by the lack of your belief on your own, right? If the industry is the problem, get them to go to businessforhome.org. There's plenty of Neumi articles in there, by the way, and start reading success stories of people in this industry. Go to Network Marketing Pro. Be careful not to take coaching from those external things. Keep your coaching internally in Neumi because they might do things differently, but go look at some of the successful leaders. Did you know there is 36 million millionaires in the world from this industry? Did you know there are people, this blows my mind, earning over $1 million a month in this industry? That blows my mind, right? But it can happen and is happening. So if it can happen to somebody else, why can't it happen to you? What's the difference? Is it because you got in first? No. I can tell you that in the previous company I was in, I hit diamond in my particular upline before the upline did, right? And then Phoebe did as well, and so forth. So we did more work. We had a better mindset. We got better results. It doesn't matter where you fit in. You could be the last person in and rank as a diamond or a crown way before anybody else does, right? So it has absolutely zero to do with that. So I hope this has been helpful today. This is the 130-10 building strategy. Now, if you're not connected to the company properly, and maybe you're out there like a shag on a rock on your own, maybe you need to get closer. Maybe all of your members need to be getting on these calls every week. Maybe your members are not in the right Facebook groups. And I know there's individual team groups out there. Anything that's not in what I'm showing you now is for an individual team, for that team only. But Neumi New You is where you should go and get all your members to see the testimonials, before and after photographs, live stream interviews. If you're not in that group now, join right now. Again, if you're Latin American on the call, I won't read it to you. You can read the screen yourself. If you're not in this group, which is the company's primary core group for Latin America, get in there. And again, if you're a member of Neumi and you're not in the separate group, which is where the training is being live streamed right now, announcements from the company happy, the community is, why you're not in there, again, apply to join that one as well. So I hope this has been helpful, ladies and gentlemen. Today, without the belief bucket, I must apologize. The belief bucket is separate, but I have already pre-recorded the 130-10 philosophy of the company. We'll have that in the app literally in a few minutes. We'll be able to send that out from the app as well to everybody. And hopefully today's session has been helpful. What I want to say is we're coming up to we're in the busiest month of the entire year. November usually goes off the charts. I've got my graph ready to rank that this will be the biggest month we've ever had in the company. And I think December, because we'll be launching Indonesia shortly, hot on the heels of that, will probably be the biggest month of the entire company's history in December as well. So thank you for attending. Hope you got a lot out of it. I look forward to seeing you on the next call. All the best.